Hi there, Property Tribes TV on the road again, and as I'm a client of the National Property Group, I've been up at an open day, so what better time to head over to their offices in York and catch up with tribal member Glenn Ackroyd. And Glenn, you're Policy and Legal Director of National Property Group, that's right, isn't it? And also, of course, you're a landlord, so you're really wearing two hats for this interview.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your landlord career.
Okay, in terms of my background, I initially was a lawyer as my legal and policy director, and probably 2004 onwards I then embraced property as a pension pot, really, my solution. I initially joined a quick sale and bought properties, and over the period of 2004 to 2007 I bought approximately 100 properties all over the UK, but mainly located around West Yorkshire region.
Fantastic. So how did AQS kind of evolve into NPG?
Okay, AQS itself and the directors, a quick sale, we bought a large number of properties, between us in excess of 400, and we'd used traditional letting agents and found that you got a varying degree of service. And also we found that because we had properties all over the country, we ended up managing the letting agents rather than having the sort of the peace and comfort of it being dealt with by somebody else. So we took the view that there must be a better way. How can we develop a system and a process that enabled us to have our properties, wherever they were in the UK, managed from one central point, and that's how National Property Group evolved.
So it's very much for landlords, by landlords.
That's it. The whole philosophy of what we do is based on that premise. I mean, what we do as National Property Group is, because we are clients ourselves, our properties are in the system and managed. We understand the pains that landlords go through. So that may be maintenance, for example. The cost of that can cripple you, and lots of letting agents, you get kickbacks from companies, which is landlords aren't aware of, and we don't do that. We're also aware of, as a letting agent, lots of their money is earned by tenants leaving. So they earn money from a tenant application fee, landlord sign-up fee, and so that's a massive cost to the business which we suffered. Well, how can we get around those problems? And we then devised National Property Group to address them.
And you're very hot on a term I learnt yesterday from your open day, which is levers. Whereas, I like the way you think you've got lateral thinking, because you were saying yesterday, rather than putting up the rent, why not minimise your maintenance costs, because that's the same difference, isn't it?
It is, yes. I mean, that's one of the things we really look at, and because, again, we are landlords, we understand those practical issues which affect our bottom line. Most people focus on the rents, thinking, let's get the rent up and then I'll make my money. Well, that's one thing you can do, but you can do it to an extent because the market will have its ceiling. Whereas, what we're aware of as landlords is that 40% typically of your business costs go in terms of voids, go in terms of repairs, and go in terms of maintenance costs. And if you actually understand those various aspects and then can drive those figures down, then you can actually achieve a better net cash return by focusing on those various points.
And as NPG, you offer a free portfolio review, which can actually look at these bottom line figures as well.
Yes, I mean, I think that's where we completely differentiate ourselves from other letting agents. A letting agent manages a property, we manage portfolios, and therefore we look at the portfolio in its entirety and think, well, what can we do here to maximise the return? It could be renting the property to a local housing tenant and getting the best return that way. It could be using rent to buy and getting the best return that way. It could be a private tenancy. We don't just look at one narrow channel, we look at all channels and say, well, how can this work now? But also, how can it work over 8 years? We have a long-term plan and strategy. And we go through that process with our landlords on day one and say, this is what we can do. But not only that, we're accountable to that. Landlords have 24-hour access to our systems to be able to see the returns.
And there's performance monitoring of portfolios and everything, which is a really, really interesting thing, which we can talk about another time. But just to finish then, with your landlord hat on, one thing that you're very excited about is rent to buy, because clearly you see it as a hedge to offload dodgy, bad properties before we get interest rate rises, etc. So why is rent to buy exciting you so much?
Well, rent to buy, I mean, we talked earlier about the costs of running a property, 40% typically. That is mainly brought up in terms of maintenance, voids and arrears. And if you've got a rent to buy tenant, they deal with the maintenance. they're in the property until they buy it, so that eliminates the void. If they don't pay the rent, they lose the option to purchase the house. That eliminates the arrears. That's probably 35% of your costs of running a business are stripped out, and that adds to your bottom line. That has the net impact of a 35% rent increase. If you sort of look at it from that point of view, it revolutionises your portfolio, and it's, you know, that's what we do as a real core strategy to turn around landlords' portfolios.
Yeah, in a totally business-like and ethical and transparent professional manner is what I got from yesterday as well.
Yes, certainly. I mean, one of the things we had to reinvent ourselves for Ring to Buy was we looked at it from our angle as landlords. Then when we looked at consumers, they were saying, well, where is our protection? You know, if we're putting money into the scheme, how is it protected? And then we had to devise a trust scheme whereby all the tenants' money is protected, so if anything went wrong, they get their money back. We're ALA registered, and the money is protected by an insurance scheme, so they have compensation should anything go wrong, and all of that's made clear to tenants, so they have complete peace of mind as well. So that gives them the confidence to embrace the scheme.
Brilliant. Okay, well that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Glenn, and thank you also for your contributions to Property Tribes. I get so much value from the information you share. I love the way you think, how systemised you are with everything, and also actually being a client of NPG, I've benefited from your strategies. And just a quick example: 4-bed house in Manchester. Another letting agent quoted me £1,000 to get it back up to letting standard because the tenant had damaged the property. Your on the road team did it for £100, so you saved me £900. So I'm living proof that it works. So that's Glenn Ackroyd of National Property Group. Thank you, Glenn, and thank you for watching Property Tribes TV.